What's going on, guys? So in the past week we had some even more bullish news. Apparently Morgan Stanley is reportedly trying to give access to the Bitcoin ETFs to all their clients. I think we're just getting started, and I'm going to show you the signs that make me feel very bullish on this cycle. Alright, so right before I start, guys, we're already 10 days away from the halving. Only 10 days left. That's crazy. Alright, so if you guys recall in my last video, I talked about the probability of Bitcoin bouncing after the flush we had when we were about in these levels. Basically, we were on the first standard deviation, and I said that there was a 68% probability that we bounce from those levels, and I did buy a little bit. And well, yeah, we're up. My target is still the green line right here, which is the reversal of the means. Obviously, we're not there yet, but hopefully we continue pushing a little bit more. Also, as you guys can see, we're also forming a contraction pattern, right, which is very bullish in an uptrend. That's exactly what you want to see during a bull market. And before I start showing you some really bullish data, I just wanted to show you guys kind of the probabilities and my price target based on the standard deviation range of Bitcoin. So I think that we're gonna push to about this level right here, which is about 81, 85K based on probabilities. That would be very reasonable. And if we look at Bitcoin seasonality, you guys can see that we're right here. Obviously, we could still have a little bit of a dip based on seasonality, but it's just a little blip in an uptrend, because if you look at the average return of April, it's actually 33%, which is insane. And then the average return on May is 24%, right? And we're 10 days from the halving. So obviously those types of return wouldn't happen when we're in the bear market, but right now in the bull market with the halving 10 days from today, I mean, based on probabilities, I would really not be shocked to start seeing these monstrous return. I think that if we're gonna see those monstrous return, it's about to happen, guys, and I'm gonna show you why. All right, so this is a chart of Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, and if you look correctly, guys, I basically put some beautiful colored box for you guys already. And yeah, in my humble opinion, guys, I think that right now we're right here, guys. We're right here. We're 10 days from the halving. We're forming this beautiful contraction pattern. What can you ask for more, guys? Okay, so if you're bearish right now, I mean, you could be right, but based on probabilities, if we're gonna have the parabolic run that Bitcoin usually has, historically speaking, it should happen in the next 2 months. It should really start going nuts, which is crazy to say if you actually look at, from where Bitcoin came from. I mean, this is just crazy. Like, we already had like a mini parabolic run, and we're 10 days from the halving. So that's crazy. And now I'm going to show you one of my favorite indicator that is basically agreeing with my thesis. And the indicator is called the Mayer's multiple. This is one of my top 3, right? I have the Mayer multiple, then you have the ZZ score, and then the pi cycle, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. So if we look at the Mayer multiple, guys, and I kind of zoom in, like, god damn, I mean, we're right here on this short. So it's basically agreeing with my thesis that we haven't had that parabolic leg up, and we're basically forming a contraction pattern, right? Having the correction pre-halving, which is, in my humble opinion, extremely bullish. So as you guys can look right here, we're right here, guys, right here before we start really going crazy. And that's why we love Bitcoin. Obviously, I could be wrong. The indicators could be wrong, right? But at the end of the day, you need to look at the probabilities and the setup. And in my humble opinion, I think that there's a higher probability that we go higher than lower for now. And then this is what I wanted to show you guys, basically the momentum. This is a super cool chart that I really enjoyed watching from the tech dev. And so basically here you can see the momentum on the monthly time frame of Bitcoin basically the 2-month MACD on the price of Bitcoin, combined with the Pi cycle, which is also one of my top indicators that I will be using to sell in this cycle. Obviously, I'm not going to wait for the Pi cycle to touch. I'm going to sell a little bit in advance right before it touches, because when it does touch, there's going to be a lot of big players with a lot of size that are also going to dump, and you don't want to be selling with them because you're going to see some big red candles. And I already talked about that in my prior video called When to Sell Bitcoin, so feel free to go check that out. There's some really good information. I didn't talk about everything, but in this video, I'm adding a couple of stuff and here and there. So, if you just listen and kind of watch the videos, you'll get to see all the stuff that I'm using for this crypto cycle. All right, going back to this chart, I really liked it because it basically showed you, right, the momentum that just crossed bullish, right? Super typical of exactly the spot we're in right before having that parabolic run. If it's going to happen based on history, it's going to happen in the next 2 months, in my humble opinion. All right, so la pièce de résistance will be Ethereum, guys. I personally do not like Ethereum. I have a bag of Ethereum. I don't like the technology, but it doesn't mean that Ethereum is not going to perform well in this cycle. Despite the fact that I am a Solana lover and I really don't like Ethereum, guys, Ethereum is my #1 pick when it comes to a setup right now for crypto. I think it's going to also perform a little bit better than Bitcoin for the next month as well, once it starts really catching up. As you guys can see, it's basically creating a contraction pattern as well. But if you look at the range of the probabilities, that's where it gets juicy, and that's why, in my humble opinion right now, right, obviously we're bottoming, we're creating a beautiful harmonic, right, W pattern, and my target is going to be the reversal of the means, which is in the ballpark of about, like 3,900, 4,000, in that ballpark. But then I can see Ethereum, guys, go here to the second standard deviation of the upper range. And that's where I find the return based on risk reward of Ethereum very juicy. So obviously this is going to be an A+ setup in my humble opinion for me. These are the type of setups that I personally really like. And that would be in the ballpark of 4,800. And in percentage wise, from where we are, a nice 40% gain. And based on seasonality and all the indicators, the next 2 months, guys, should be crazy. Obviously, I could be completely wrong. It's an opinion that I base on indicators and probabilities that I see in the market. So obviously, I could always be wrong. But for now, guys, I'm pretty bullish. I'm more bullish than I was a couple of weeks ago when we were literally going parabolic. I'm very happy that we had this correction pre-halving. So that's really gonna create a lot of energy for us to rip to higher levels post-halving. All right, guys, that's it. That's all. Sorry if it was long. So have a great day. Stay blessed and see you in the next video.